All right, welcome. So you're gearing up for the TOEFL ITP? Well, you've landed in the perfect spot. Think of this as your personal roadmap, your guide to absolutely conquering this test from start to finish. So let's just dive right in. Why are you here? Is that TOEFL score the one thing standing between you and your degree? Or maybe it's the key to a life-changing scholarship? Or, hey, maybe it's for that big promotion at work. If any of that sounds familiar, you already know how much this matters. Okay, so to make sure you're totally prepared, we've laid this out like a quest map. First, we'll figure out why you're on this quest. Then, we'll scout the terrain. That's the test itself. After that, we'll learn the rules of the game, draw up a battle plan, and finally gather all the tools you'll need for victory. Sound good? Let's get started. All right, first things first. Every good quest needs a why. So let's really dig into why this ITP test is so important and what it actually means for you. For a lot of people, the TOEFL ITP is this massive key that unlocks opportunities right in their home country. We're talking about things like a requirement to graduate from university or passing that first hurdle for big scholarships like the LPDP in Indonesia, for example. It can even be the thing that gets you hired or promoted. And, of course, language programs use it all the time to see where you're at and track how much you're improving. Okay, but here's something you really need to get straight. It's a super important point. See the I in ITP? That stands for institutional, and what that means is your certificate, which is good for 2 years, is mainly for opportunities inside a country. It's generally not what you'd use for direct admission to a university abroad. So, yeah, it's a powerful key, but you gotta know exactly which doors it's meant to open. Okay, so now that we know why we're doing this, it's time to scout the terrain. To win any battle, you've got to understand the battlefield. So let's break down exactly what the TOEFL ITP looks like on the inside. So here's the top-level view. You're looking at 140 questions in just 115 minutes. And get this, it's all on paper. Yeah, old-school paper and pencil. So this isn't just about how good your English is, it's a real test of your speed and your mental stamina. So this whole thing is split into 3 main parts. First up, you've got listening comprehension. 50 questions, 35 minutes. Then comes the real sprint, structure and written expression. That's 40 questions in a super tight 25 minutes. And you finish with the marathon section, reading comprehension, where you get 55 minutes to work through another 50 questions. All right, every game has rules, right? But the TOEFL ITP has one little scoring secret. And honestly, knowing it can give you a huge advantage. Let's pull back the curtain on this so you can learn how to play the game smarter. First, let's talk about the target you're aiming for. Your final score is going to land somewhere between 310 on the low end and 677 on the high end. And believe me, every single point in that range matters. And that number right there, 677, that's the peak, the summit, the absolute perfect score. Just knowing what you're shooting for, that's half the battle right there. But honestly, all that is just numbers. This is the secret weapon, the one rule that changes everything. You need to burn this into your brain. There is no penalty for wrong answers. I'll say it again, no penalty for wrong answers. That means a wrong guess is no different than leaving it blank. This one little fact should shape your entire approach to the test. So what does that mean for you? It means you have a new mantra. And that mantra is, never leave an answer blank. Ever. If time is running out, guess. If you have no clue, guess. You have absolutely nothing to lose, and you might just pick up a free point. Always, always guess. Okay, so we know the terrain, we know the rules of the game. Now it's time to put together our battle plan. Look, a great score doesn't just happen by luck. It comes from having a really smart, consistent strategy. Your prep really needs to be built on 4 solid pillars. Number 1, master your time management. Speed is just as crucial as accuracy here. Number 2, practice consistently. You want to get to a point where nothing on that test can surprise you. 3, run full test simulations. You've got to build up the mental stamina to stay focused for nearly 2 hours straight. And pillar number 4, our golden rule, answer absolutely everything. Remember, every guess is a free shot at a point. Now let's zoom in on some specific tactics. For the listening section, your focus needs to be laser sharp. For structure, it's all about getting really good at spotting those common grammar patterns and errors.
And for reading, you do not have time to read every single word. You have to master skimming, that's quickly getting the main idea, and scanning, which is hunting for specific keywords. A good goal is to spend about 11 minutes on each reading passage.
And finally, every warrior needs their gear, right? So let's wrap this up by looking at the best tools and resources for your study arsenal. This is the stuff that'll make sure you walk into that test feeling totally prepared. When we're talking about books, these three are basically the holy trinity of ITP prep. You've got the Longman book, which is a classic for a reason. It's super comprehensive. Then there's the official guide from ETS, the people who make the test, so you get real, authentic questions. And Barron's is just amazing for tons and tons of practice exercises. Seriously, you can't go wrong starting with these. And hey, don't just stick to books. You've got a whole digital arsenal at your fingertips. There are tons of YouTube channels that break down different strategies. Grab a vocabulary app like Quizlet or Anki so you can study on your phone whenever you have a spare minute. And a quick search online will turn up tons of PDFs with practice questions for, endless drilling. So, there you have it. You've got the map, so you understand the mission. You know the rules of the game, and more importantly, you know the secret to using them to your advantage. And you've got the tools you need to prepare for victory. The only question left is, are you ready for the quest?